Which MLB superstar has a strikeout rate so high that every at-bat is basically a coin flip? Which Hall of Fame pitcher walked more batters than some teams scored runs? Which modern superstar got tangled up in a betting scandal without even knowing it? These aren't trick questions. They're real weaknesses that make baseball's elite surprisingly relatable. We're counting down 10 legendary players and the one flaw that proves nobody's perfect, not even at the highest level. Mike Trout. Mike Trout has won exactly 3 playoff games in his entire career. That's fewer wins than most backup catchers rack up in a single October run. The best player of his generation somehow turns into an average guy the moment the calendar flips to playoff season. This is the same Mike Trout who puts up numbers that make video games look realistic from April through September. His regular season stats read like someone made them up. Trout has posted a career OPS over 900 while averaging 35 home runs and 100 RBIs per season across more than a decade. He's won 3 MVP awards and finished second 4 other times. In 2012, his rookie year, he hit .326 with 30 homers and stole 49 bases. Most players would kill for those numbers in their best season ever. For Trout, it was just Tuesday. The thing is, October seems to drain all his powers away. In 2014, the Angels made the playoffs and Trout hit .083 in their 3-game sweep. That's not a typo. The best hitter in baseball managed 1 hit in 12 at-bats when it mattered most. The Angels haven't been back to the playoffs since, which means Trout's postseason sample size sits at exactly 3 games. 3 games in 13 seasons. Consider this. Trout has never played in a playoff game past the first round. He's never experienced the pressure of a championship series or World Series. Players with half his talent have rings on their fingers while he watches October baseball from his couch in Orange County. The Angels have finished under 500 in 8 of his 13 seasons, despite having the best position player in the game. Injuries have made things worse. Trout missed significant time with back problems, wrist issues, and a foot injury that cost him most of 2022. These weren't minor dings either. They were serious injuries that robbed him of entire months during his prime years. Each missed game represents another lost opportunity to drag the Angels into October contention. The cruel irony hits hardest when you realize Trout can hit 300 with 40 home runs in the regular season but somehow becomes mortal when autumn arrives. His career playoff batting average sits at .083, which is lower than most pitchers manage. This is a guy who can turn around 98-mile-per-hour fastballs like they're batting practice tosses, but put him in a playoff atmosphere and he looks lost. Angels fans know this pain better than anyone. They watch their superstar put up Hall of Fame numbers year after year while their team finishes in 4th place. Trout's individual brilliance gets overshadowed by team failure, creating one of sports' most frustrating what-if stories. The reality is that even Angels apparently have seasonal limitations. Trout proves that individual greatness doesn't always translate to team success, making him fascinatingly human, despite being baseball's closest thing to perfection. Aaron Judge. Watching Aaron Judge bat is like flipping a coin between witnessing history or witnessing complete embarrassment. Every single at-bat carries the same dramatic tension because you never know which version of Judge will show up at the plate. Judge stands 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 282 pounds, making him look like someone built a baseball player in a laboratory. When he connects with a pitch, the results defy basic physics. His home runs don't just clear the fence, they disappear into dimensions that normal humans can't reach. In 2022, he hit 62 home runs to break the American League record, with some of those balls traveling over 450 feet. One home run against the Guardians that season measured 463 feet and left Yankee Stadium so fast that fans barely had time to react. The problem is Judge also strikes out at a rate that would make most hitters hide in shame. His career strikeout rate sits above 28%, which means he fails to make contact roughly 3 times out of every 10 at-bats. In 2017, he struck out 208 times in 155 games. That's more than 1 strikeout per game for an entire season. When Judge swings and misses at a slider, he looks like someone trying to hit a butterfly with a telephone pole. His massive frame creates the perfect storm for both incredible success and spectacular failure. The same long arms that generate tremendous power also create a longer swing path that pitchers can exploit. Breaking balls low and away turn Judge into a statue. He swings through sliders like he's trying to chop down a tree that keeps moving. The bigger the moment, the more obvious this weakness becomes. Judge can make a baseball disappear into orbit one at bat, and then make himself disappear with 3 consecutive swings and misses the next time up. This all-or-nothing approach defines his entire identity as a hitter. Pitchers know exactly how to attack him, yet he still manages to hit 40-plus home runs most seasons because when he does connect, the results are usually devastating. The coin-flip nature of Judge's at-bats makes every plate appearance must-see television. Fans hold their breath waiting to see whether they'll witness a 500-foot moonshot or watch a grown man swing through 3 pitches that weren't even close to the strike zone. There's no middle ground with Judge. He either crushes the baseball into another zip code or looks completely lost at the plate. His strikeout rate turns Yankees fans into nervous wrecks during crucial moments. They've watched their slugger hit tape measure home runs in April and then strike out looking in October playoff games. The same swing that produces historic power numbers also produces historic strikeout totals, creating one of baseball's most fascinating contradictions. This high-risk, high-reward approach makes Judge appointment television every time he steps into the batter's box, whether fans are hoping for glory or bracing for comedy. Juan Soto. Juan Soto plays outfield defense like he's wearing oven mitts while blindfolded, which makes absolutely no sense when you consider he's one of the smartest hitters in baseball history. This is a guy who can read a pitcher's mind from 60 feet away, but somehow can't figure out where a fly ball is going to land. At the plate, Soto operates like a hitting savant who turns every at-bat into a masterclass in patience and power. He won his first batting title at age 21 and has maintained an on-base percentage above .400 for most of his career. Soto can work deep counts against the best pitchers in the world, fouling off tough pitches until he gets exactly what he wants. His plate discipline is so advanced that he draws walks at a rate that would make Ted Williams proud. He sees pitches that other hitters can only dream of recognizing. The cruel irony hits you immediately when Soto takes the field. This same player who can predict what's coming from the mound becomes completely lost when the ball comes his way. His defensive metrics paint a picture that makes fans cringe and opposing base runners smile with anticipation. Soto's range factor sits well below average for outfielders, and his arm strength ratings suggest he couldn't throw out a runner heading to second base from right field if they stopped to tie their shoes halfway there. The numbers tell a story that contradicts everything you see at the plate. Soto has consistently ranked among the worst defensive outfielders in baseball according to advanced metrics. His defensive runs saved numbers are so bad that they often wipe out significant portions of his offensive value. Opposing teams specifically target him during crucial moments because they know a ball hit his way creates opportunities that wouldn't exist with competent defenders. Watching Soto field routine pop-ups looks like someone trying to solve quantum physics in real time. He misjudges fly balls that Little League outfielders handle without thinking. Ground balls bounce off his glove like he's playing with a tennis racket. The same baseball IQ that makes him elite at the plate completely abandons him the moment he has to track down a batted ball. This creates one of baseball's most fascinating contradictions. Soto can work a 3-2 count like a chess master, fouling off pitches until he gets his pitch, then turn around and field a routine single into a double because he took a bad route to the ball. His hitting approach shows incredible preparation and study, while his defense suggests he's never seen a baseball before. Teams have moved Soto between outfield positions trying to hide his defensive limitations, but the problems follow him everywhere. The thing is, his bat is so valuable that teams gladly accept his defensive shortcomings. His glove makes him remarkably human, despite having a superhuman approach to hitting, proving that even the most gifted players have glaring weaknesses that keep them grounded. Shohei Ohtani. Baseball's modern babe. Ruth somehow got tangled up in a betting scandal without even knowing it, which might be the most absurd weakness any superstar has ever had to deal with. This is Shohei Ohtani we're talking about, a player who shouldn't exist according to basic baseball logic. Ohtani dominates both pitching and hitting in ways that make other two-way players look like they're playing different sports. He throws fastballs that hit 100 miles per hour, while also launching home runs that travel 450 feet, doing both at an elite level that breaks every rule about specialization in modern baseball. In 2021, he pitched 130 innings with a 3.18 ERA while hitting 46 home runs and stealing 26 bases. No player in baseball history had ever combined those numbers in a single season. The shocking reality hit when investigators revealed that Ohtani's longtime interpreter and close friend had been stealing millions from him to cover gambling debts. This created a scandal that threatened to overshadow every historic achievement Ohtani had accomplished. The same player who controls every aspect of his performance couldn't control what was happening right under his nose in his own inner circle. His two-way abilities continue to amaze fans and confuse opponents. Ohtani regularly pitches 7 innings of dominant baseball, then heads to the batting cages to prepare for his next offensive appearance. He's won both an MVP award and pitched in All-Star games, accomplishments that used to require 2 different careers. Opposing teams literally don't know how to game plan against him because he presents problems they've never had to solve before. The gambling scandal created the strangest contradiction in sports. Ohtani can read opposing pitchers well enough to hit their best stuff out of the park, and he can sequence his own pitches to make the best hitters in the world look foolish. Yet he apparently couldn't spot the red flags when someone in his trusted circle was making terrible financial decisions with his money. This situation becomes even more ironic when you consider Ohtani's reputation for controlling every detail of his training and preparation. He follows strict routines for his sleep schedule, nutrition, and workout regimen. Every aspect of his baseball life gets planned and monitored to maintain his unprecedented two-way excellence. But somehow, his personal finances were being managed by someone with a serious gambling problem. The whole mess created Ohtani's most vulnerable moment, despite him being completely innocent in the situation. He can throw 100 miles per hour fastballs that make hitters look silly, and hit 450-foot home runs that leave pitchers questioning their career choices. He couldn't, however, spot the warning signs that his trusted translator was stealing from him to place bets. This proves that even baseball gods need better background checks for their support staff. The most complete player in baseball history got undone by someone else's poor decision-making, showing how off-field issues can threaten even the most dominant athletic careers. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. fights a constant battle with the scale that he doesn't always win, which creates one of baseball's most frustrating what-if stories. This is one of the most naturally gifted hitters in the game, yet his weight becomes a storyline every single season. Vlad Jr. inherited his father's incredible bat and the kind of natural hitting ability that makes pitchers lose sleep before facing him. His swing produces the kind of contact that sounds different when it connects with the baseball. The ball jumps off his bat with authority that few players can match. When he's locked in at the plate, Vlad Jr. can turn any mistake pitch into a line drive or home run that leaves fielders standing around watching. The problem is he apparently also inherited his father's love for late-night snacks and ongoing struggles with staying in peak physical condition. Vladimir Guerrero Sr. dealt with similar weight issues throughout his Hall of Fame career, and the apple didn't fall far from the tree in this particular area. His hitting talents become obvious when you look at his peak performance numbers. In 2021, Vlad Jr. hit .311 with 48 home runs and 111 RBIs while leading the Blue Jays to their first playoff appearance in years. He made hitting look effortless that season, crushing fastballs and breaking balls with equal effectiveness. His approach at the plate shows incredible maturity for someone so young, working counts and selecting pitches like a veteran. The weight fluctuations make cryptocurrency prices look stable by comparison. One season he shows up to spring training looking trim and athletic. The next season he arrives carrying extra pounds that affect his mobility around first base. These ups and downs create constant questions about his commitment to conditioning and whether he takes his physical preparation seriously enough. His conditioning directly affects his performance in ways that show up in the statistics. When Vlad Jr. carries extra weight, his ground ball rate increases significantly, leading to more double plays and fewer hard-hit balls in the air. His speed on the base paths becomes even more limited than normal. turning him into a station-to-station runner who can't stretch singles into doubles. The weight seems to yo-yo more than his batting average, creating ongoing questions from fans and media about whether he'll ever reach his full potential. His natural hitting ability is so obvious that people expect him to dominate consistently, but the physical battles hold him back from becoming the superstar everyone knows he could be. This creates a fascinating contradiction where his conditioning issues make him relatable to fans who struggle with similar battles, while simultaneously limiting his ceiling as a player. Vlad Jr. proves that even the most gifted athletes can be their own worst enemies when it comes to maximizing their talents. Jacob deGrom. The best pitcher when healthy spends more time rehabbing than actually pitching, which makes Jacob deGrom one of baseball's most frustrating talents. This is a guy who can make the best hitters in the world look like they've never seen a baseball before, yet his own body treats him like he's made of glass. When deGrom takes the mound, he possesses the most devastating stuff in baseball. His four-seam fastball sits in the upper 90s, while his slider breaks so sharply that hitters swing through it by several inches. His changeup drops off the table like it hit an invisible wall. Batters step into the box knowing they're about to face pitches they have almost no chance of hitting hard. The cruel reality hits Mets fans every season when they realize deGrom's appearances are rarer than solar eclipses. They treat each of his starts like a national holiday because they never know when the next injury will sideline him for months. His name on the starting rotation creates more excitement than most teams generate during entire playoff runs. His incredible pitching dominance shows up in numbers that seem fake. During his peak seasons, deGrom posted ERAs below 2.50 while striking out more than 250 hitters per year. In 2018, he won the Cy Young Award with a 1.70 ERA, striking out 269 batters in just 217 innings. His WHIP consistently sits below 1.00, meaning he allows fewer than one base runner per inning pitched. These numbers put him in conversations with the greatest pitchers who ever lived. The problem is his injury history reads like a medical textbook of things that can go wrong with the human arm and back. He's dealt with elbow inflammation, forearm tightness, shoulder impingement, and stress reactions in his scapula. Each diagnosis comes with its own timeline for recovery and uncertainty about long-term effects. Mets fans have become experts on obscure baseball injuries just from following deGrom's career. His ERA often ends up lower than his games played per season, creating an impossible standard that only makes sense in video games. In 2019, he pitched to a 2.43 ERA in just 32 starts. The thing is, he can make all-star hitters look completely helpless but can't make his own body cooperate for a full season. The question haunts everyone who watches him pitch about what his career could have been with better health. His peak performances suggest he could have been mentioned alongside Cy Young and Walter Johnson if his body had held up. Instead, every healthy start feels like borrowed time. This fragility makes each deGrom appearance feel like pure magic that might disappear at any moment. Fans know they're watching greatness that comes with an expiration date, creating a sense of urgency around every pitch he throws. His talent level demands comparison to legends, while his availability makes him maddeningly unreliable. Mike Piazza. The greatest hitting catcher in history played defense like he was afraid the ball might mess up his perfect hair. Mike Piazza redefined what offensive production looked like from behind the plate, but his defensive skills made opposing base runners feel like they were taking casual strolls around the diamond. Piazza established himself as an offensive force that made the catcher position look completely different. His career numbers include 427 home runs and a .308 batting average, which seems impossible for someone who spent most of his time crouched behind home plate. He drove in over 100 runs 6 different times and hit more than 30 home runs in 8 seasons. These numbers put him in conversations with the greatest hitters in baseball history, regardless of position. The thing is, opposing runners treated stolen base attempts like leisurely jogs around the bases whenever Piazza was behind the plate. His reputation for weak defense became so well known that base runners would get comfortable leads and take off for second base without much concern about getting thrown out. Piazza's offensive statistics as a catcher show how he completely changed expectations for the position. Before Piazza, catchers were expected to handle pitchers and play solid defense while contributing maybe 15 home runs per season if you were lucky. Piazza turned the position into an offensive weapon that could carry entire lineups. His slash line of 308, 377, 545 represents production that most first basemen and outfielders never achieve. His defensive metrics tell a completely different story that made coaches cringe and opposing teams smile with anticipation. Piazza's caught stealing percentage consistently ranked among the worst in baseball during his prime years. While average catchers threw out around 30% of base stealers, Piazza struggled to reach even 23% in most seasons. The numbers make it clear how bad his defense really was. During his peak offensive years with the Dodgers and Mets, Piazza's caught stealing rates sat well below league averages year after year. Teams would specifically run on him during crucial moments because they knew his arm strength and pop time created easy opportunities for stolen bases. Piazza could turn any pitcher's fastball into a line drive, but couldn't turn any base runner into an out at second base. His swing generated tremendous power and average, while his throwing motion generated mostly frustration from his own pitchers, who watched runners steal bases at will. This created a fascinating trade-off that defined his entire career. Teams gladly accepted his defensive shortcomings because his bat provided value that no other catcher could match. Managers had to weigh the runs he created with his hitting against the runs he allowed with his defense. Piazza's defensive struggles made him remarkably human despite his legendary offensive abilities, proving that even Hall of Fame talents come with significant weaknesses that keep them grounded in reality. Nolan Ryan. The strikeout king also happened to be the walk emperor, handing out free passes like he was running a charity for opposing hitters. Nolan Ryan could throw a baseball faster than most people drive on the highway, yet somehow couldn't consistently find the strike zone to save his life. Ryan threw the ultimate power fastball that could break the sound barrier and intimidate hitters from 3 different decades. His heater regularly hit 100 miles per hour during an era when radar guns were still new technology. Hitters stepped into the box knowing they were about to face pitches that could seriously hurt them if they made contact wrong. His strikeout totals may never be matched by any pitcher in baseball history. The flip side created a bizarre situation where batters faced a simple choice every at-bat. They could either get struck out by 100 miles per hour heat that they never saw coming, or they could stand there patiently and wait for Ryan to walk them to first base. There was rarely any middle ground with Ryan on the mound. His incredible strikeout records put him in a category by himself among power pitchers. Ryan struck out 5,714 hitters during his 27-year career, which is more than 800 strikeouts ahead of the second-place pitcher. He led the American League in strikeouts 11 different times and threw 7 no-hitters. Opposing hitters knew they were probably going to strike out, but they also knew Ryan might walk them before they even got a chance to swing. The problem was, his walk totals led the league almost as often as his strikeouts did. Ryan walked 2,795 batters during his career, which means he issued more free passes than most pitchers throw total innings. He led his league in walks 8 different seasons, creating situations where managers never knew which version of Ryan would show up on any given night. His lack of control created an all-or-nothing approach that defined his entire career. Ryan either dominated hitters completely or handed them free base runners without making them earn anything. This wild approach made every single at-bat an adventure for fans, teammates, and opposing hitters. The thing is, Ryan could make the best hitters in baseball look completely foolish with his fastball, but he could also make them look smart by consistently missing the strike zone. Batters learned to be patient against Ryan because they knew he would eventually walk them if they just waited long enough. Ryan averaged nearly 4 walks per 9 innings during his career, which created constant pressure on his defense and pitch counts that spiraled out of control. His managers never knew if they would get 6 innings or 3 innings from their ace on any given start. This wild approach made Ryan fascinatingly unpredictable, while his devastating stuff made him nearly unhittable when he found the strike zone. His control issues created one of baseball's most interesting contradictions between dominance and wildness. Ichiro Suzuki. Ichiro could slap 200 hits a season but couldn't hit a home run if the fences were moved to the pitcher's mound. This amazing reality defined one of baseball's most fascinating careers, where incredible contact ability came with a complete power shortage that made fans wonder if home runs were against his religion. Ichiro established himself as the ultimate contact artist who could put the bat on any pitch and turn singles into an art form. His swing was so precise that he could place the ball wherever he wanted on the field. Pitchers threw him their best stuff and watched helplessly as he found gaps that shouldn't have existed. His bat control was so advanced that he made hitting look like he was playing a completely different sport from everyone else. The thing is, his complete inability to drive the ball out of the park created one of baseball's strangest contradictions. This same player who could turn any pitch into contact somehow couldn't generate enough power to reach the seats. His incredible bat control came with zero ability to lift the ball over outfield walls. His incredible contact hitting shows up in numbers that seem impossible in modern baseball. Ichiro collected 200 or more hits in 10 different seasons, including his record-breaking 262 hits in 2004. His batting averages consistently sat above 300, and he rarely struck out more than 70 times per season. He could foul off tough pitches until he got something he could handle, then slap it past diving infielders for base hits. The contrast with his home run totals made fans wonder if he was allergic to power. Ichiro hit more than 15 home runs in a season exactly twice during his entire major league career. His career high was just 15 home runs in 2005. Most seasons he finished with single-digit home run totals that looked like printing errors next to his hit totals. Ichiro once said he could hit 40 home runs if he tried, but nobody wanted that approach from him. He understood that changing his swing to generate power would destroy the contact ability that made him special. His approach prioritized getting on base and using his speed rather than trying to drive balls over fences. The comedy comes from watching Ichiro find gaps that didn't exist, but never finding the seats that were right there waiting for him. He could place ground balls between infielders with surgical precision, yet couldn't lift a fly ball high enough to clear a little league fence. His swing was designed for contact, not power, creating a limitation that defined his entire approach. This approach was both his greatest strength and most obvious limitation. Ichiro's power shortage made him completely unique in an era where everyone was trying to hit home runs. His contact ability made him legendary, while his lack of power kept him human, proving that different players can dominate in completely different ways. Clayton Kershaw. The best regular season pitcher transforms into a batting practice pitcher every postseason, which makes Clayton Kershaw one of baseball's most tragic figures. This cruel reality has turned Dodgers fans into nervous wrecks every October for more than a decade. Kershaw established himself as a regular season dominant force with ERA titles and Cy Young awards that define pitching excellence. His curveball drops off the table like it hit an invisible wall, and his fastball command puts hitters in impossible situations. During the regular season, Kershaw makes opposing lineups look like they're swinging pool noodles against major league pitching. The shocking truth hits when you look at his playoff ERA, which sits higher than most closers' regular season numbers. This creates nightmares for Dodgers fans who watch their ace become a completely different pitcher when October arrives. The same guy who dominates for 6 months suddenly can't get out of the 5th inning when it matters most. His incredible regular season achievements paint the picture of one of the greatest pitchers who ever lived. Kershaw won 3 Cy Young awards and an MVP trophy while posting ERAs below 2.00 in multiple seasons. In 2014, he struck out 239 batters while walking just 31, creating a strikeout-to-walk ratio that most pitchers only achieve in video games. His regular season WHIP consistently sits below 1.00, meaning he allows fewer base runners per inning than most closers manage. The contrast with his postseason struggles has become legendary for all the wrong reasons. Kershaw's playoff ERA sits well above 4.00, which represents a complete transformation from his regular season dominance. Games that should showcase his greatness instead become examples of how pressure can break even the most talented players. Dodgers fans developed PTSD watching their ace melt down when the stakes got highest. They've seen Kershaw give up multiple home runs in crucial playoff moments after spending entire regular seasons making those same mistakes look impossible. The anxiety builds every time he takes the mound in October because fans know the collapse might be coming. The thing is, Kershaw could make All-Stars look foolish in July, but somehow makes journeymen look like Hall of Famers in October. His curveball that baffles hitters for 6 months suddenly becomes hittable when the calendar changes. The command that defines his regular season excellence disappears exactly when he needs it most. The question haunted baseball fans for years about whether Kershaw could ever overcome his October demons. His 2020 World Series title provided some redemption, but the overall pattern of playoff struggles defines how people remember his career. This playoff weakness made Kershaw tragically human, despite his regular season perfection. His October struggles prove that even the most dominant players can have mental barriers that limit their greatest achievements, creating one of sports' most fascinating psychological puzzles. Like and subscribe for 100 Years of Luck. Until next time.